When people think of Halloween, the first images that come to mind to most of them are children dressed up in scary costumes going door to door on their streets to collect candies from as many houses as possible. At the end of the night, delighted kids empty their loot on the floor and begin the feasting. While many have connected Halloween to earlier pagan celebrations, Halloween actually has significant Catholic roots. The very word Halloween is a Scottish shortening of the phrase All Hallow Even, literally meaning All Holy Evening, and dates back to the 18th century. The English have a similar phrase, All Hallows Eve, with the same meaning. Both words denote the night before All Saints' Day, November 1, and refer to the celebration of the holy men and women who are recognized in the Catholic Church as residing in heaven. It's true that the ancient Celts of Ireland and Britain celebrated a minor festival on October 31, as they did on the last day of most other months of the year. However, Halloween falls on the last day of October because the solemnity of All Saints, or All Hallows, falls on November 1. The feast in honor of all the saints in heaven used to be celebrated on May 13, but Pope Gregory III moved it to November 1 after consecrating a chapel named in honor of All Saints in St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. Later, in the 840s, Pope Gregory IV extended the feast to the Universal Church and made it into a holy day of obligation for all Catholics. Along with its celebration, All Saints' Day was given a special vigil mass the night before, which led to that date being regarded by Catholics as a holy evening, and so the holy day spread to Ireland. In addition to All Saints' Day, the Church established November 2 as All Souls' Day, dedicated to praying for the souls in purgatory. On this day, Catholics pray for their deceased relatives and friends, visiting cemeteries to remember those who are no longer on this earth. This feast, called All Souls' Day, spread from France to the rest of Europe. In various cultures in Europe, there developed a tradition of souling and baking soul cakes in honor of the faithful departed. These cakes were baked on All Hallows' Eve, and children would go out on All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day, begging door to door for these cakes in exchange for praying for deceased relatives and friends. It is believed that in some places there was a tradition of wearing disguises while souling that represented the various souls in purgatory who were seeking these prayers. And of course, the processional candles were carried, sheltered from the wind, in hollowed-out gourds or turnips, called jack-o'-lanterns. In France, during the 14th and 15th centuries, late medieval Europe was hit by repeated outbreaks of the bubonic plague, the Black Death, and it lost about half its population. It is not surprising that Catholics became more concerned about the afterlife. More masses were said on All Souls' Day, and artistic representations were devised to remind everyone of their own mortality. The faithful created a Dance of the Dead that consisted of a representation of death, leading a chain of individuals to the afterlife. The scene would often be brought to life on All Souls' Day, where actors would put on costumes representing the different people in the chain. According to some accounts, Irish peasants developed an All Damned Day on October 31 to complement the All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. The theory is that if the souls in hell are left out when we celebrate those in heaven and purgatory, they might be unhappy enough to cause trouble, The Irish then banged pots and pans on October 31 to make sure those in hell knew they were not forgotten. All of these different traditions revolving around All Saints and All Souls were mixed together in the United States when immigrants started to intermarry and combine customs. The celebration of Halloween spread throughout the country during the early 20th century and quickly became a secular community activity that was devoid of its Christian origins. Businesses then recognized the profitability of the holiday and started to promote it in their advertisements, taking over the day in a similar way to the celebration of Christmas. The greeting card industry added the witches in the late 1800s. The Halloween card failed, but the witches stayed. In the end, while the current activities of Halloween appear to have no Christian significance, they have deep Catholic roots and are meant to remind people of their own mortality and the need to pray for souls in purgatory. In 2018, in a memorandum on the celebration of Halloween issued for his diocese, Bishop David Cordelia of Tulsa, Oklahoma, stresses the importance of maintaining the Catholic meaning and purpose of all holidays, especially those which have been adopted by the culture around us. He explains how customs such as dressing up for Halloween and appealing to frightful imagery can be done in a Catholic spirit, while warning that we want to intentionally avoid those things that are contrary to our Catholic faith, but have become popularized through the secular adaptation of Halloween. In truth, Halloween is the feast of the celebration of the Feast of All Hallows. So, it's a day when Catholics celebrate the triumph of the Church in heaven and the lives of the saints on earth. In his memorandum, Bishop Conderla invites the faithful to urge one another this Halloween to express in every detail of our observance the beauty and depth of the Feast of All Saints. Let us make this year's celebration, he says, an act of true devotion to God, whose saints give us hope that we too may one day enter into the kingdom prepared for God's holy ones from the beginning of time.